Today, we're going to have a deep dive analysis into the recent Bank of Canada announcement. Let's go! Hey gang, how's it going? Russell Westcott back here. So doing this both YouTube style and also podcast style. So hope everybody's having yourself a wonderful day. I'm going to cut right to the chase here with this one. So recently, Bank of Canada just made a brand new announcement about their monetary policy and also their interest rate. Setting the interest rate for the foreseeable future. Now, I'm going to do a real quick analysis here and some of the things I saw, some of the things I didn't see. But you know what? I was sitting here and I was up nice and early. I had, I had my coffee. I had the computer all set up, and I was looking forward to seeing the analysis. I was looking forward to going through the announcement that they had, because you know what, pretty well everybody was all over the spectrum. Everybody was all over the map where the analysis was going to go. Was the rates going up? Was the rates staying flat? What was going on? But the consensus, and the markets had already probably priced it in, was the consensus that the opportunity was for Bank of Canada to stem the tides of inflation, to raise interest rates. So I put together a little analysis here for everybody, and I'll try to keep it really tight. But one of the things I'm going to do here is, interesting. I just learned a term just recently, and I learned this term called TLDR, too long, didn't read. So what I'm going to do here for you is I'm going to do a quick summary analysis of what I saw, my take on it. It's 100% my opinion on what I saw, some unintended consequences, and what I believe is going to transpire next. And I'm going to give you that summary up front, and I encourage you, if that's all you need is just the too long, didn't read summary, stick around for that. But I encourage you to go right to the very end to watch the whole video and listen to the whole podcast, because there we will go through an in-depth look into the rest of the materials there as well. Okay, so like I said, I was sitting there and, I had my coffee out. I was sitting there ready. So the best way I could summarize what I would say from this, the summary for myself, is I was disappointed. I was disappointed, and I believe the Bank of Canada missed a huge opportunity. The best analogy I would probably give would be the following is, the Bank of Canada had at their opportunity right now an opportunity to probably raise interest rates. Now, some of you might be sitting there going, Ross, why do you want Bank of Canada to raise interest rate? I thought you want rates to stay as low as humanly possible for the longest. Cheap money, that's the best. I think, and there's more at play than what is just on the surface. But I honestly think Bank of Canada had an opportunity to not just signal, but take some real measured action. And here's the analogy I kind of said to myself is, everybody was expecting it. Everybody was probably, thinking that it was going to happen. Everybody knew it was probably going to transpire. And honest to goodness, they whiffed, in my personal opinion. The analogy I would probably best give would be if you're a golfer, they missed a 2-foot tap-in or a 2-inch tap-in on the lip. They just absolutely stubbed their putter, putting the ball into the hole. So I believe they truly missed an opportunity to do something that everybody was probably already expecting. It wouldn't have sent some major shockwaves into the marketplace. So that's what I believe that they probably did, is they missed an opportunity as well. And here's the thing. So what I'm going to share with you here is, so this is the best analysis I put together when I was kind of reviewing it and looking it over, was I sat there and I go, it almost reminded me a little bit of, when I was a child in Saskatchewan, and, we only had four TV channels, and 2 of them were French. We had a CTV and a CBC, and Sesame Street was one of those ones that was in Saskatchewan. It was from 11 to 12, and it was the time my mom would tell me that it was the time only time I would ever shut up during the day, was when I was sitting in front of watching Sesame Street for that 1 hour a day. And when I kind of looked at it, is in the announcement that happened, yesterday's announcement when I'm recording this, was, it was brought to you by the letter S. Right? And so all the lessons and things that I'm going to dive into in that analysis is all about the letter S here for you. So the first thing I would think that they did, so I'm going to start off with the first S, and that's going to be the summary. The summary for here is inflation is here. Now, whether you believe it's the number that the Bank of Canada is or much higher, inflation is here. Everybody's aware of it. Inflation will continue. And perhaps it's going to accelerate before it gets better. Even the Bank of Canada announced that. And they had an opportunity to take a measured action on there. All talk. They were signaling. They were saber-rattling. It was just all, stop, or I'll tell you to stop again, was almost the tone I heard there. However, what's going to happen out of all of this, because they missed this opportunity yesterday to raise the rates, is there's going to be other tools that are going to be required to slow the market. Because, guys, this is no secret, is that in the marketplace right now, there are multiple bidding wars. Inventories at its all-time low. You know that. You see that. You see the price escalation growing probably faster than the underlying economic fundamentals. The Bank of Canada and the Canadian government will still want to curb the enthusiasm. They still will want to slow the marketplace down. So what they're going to have to do is they're going to bring out other tools. They're going to bring out those other tools. They're going to start bringing in increased taxes. They're going to start raising down payments. They're going to mess with where the down payment sources come from, that maybe you can't take it from a line of credit. They're going to lower amortizations. They're going to bring in even more stringent stress tests, all those kind of things, because they didn't do what was required at the time, where they could have just did a 2-inch tap in to do a little bit of an interest rate hike here and then slowly gradual over time. Now, one of the things they also didn't do is, by not doing the rate increase just recently, is they're probably setting the market up that there's going to be bigger, sharper increases to come, as opposed to slow and steady increases going up from there. So that's the summary. That's the too long didn't read summary for everybody. So here's what we're going to do next is, now, what I want to go into is a little bit more in depth. So if you did not see the announcement, you saw the announcement, Bank of Canada signals hikes coming soon, but leaves the key interest rates unchanged. And I mentioned earlier is, Russ, you should be a fan of that the rates didn't go up. In this case, I'm actually not a fan that the interest rates didn't go up, because they truly missed an opportunity to start curbing some enthusiasm, start taking some of the bloom off the rose, whatever analogy you want to use. I think they completely gaffed on the decision there as well. Here's one of the core things that they showed in this was the inflation. Inflation is running at a significant high term right now. And whether you believe Bank of Canada is correct at 4.8% or not, I believe that's probably low, but at the end of the day, it's significantly higher than it was before. Let's just talk about the differential and the direction that it has been going. So interest rates at an all-time high, interest rates are at an all-time low. One of the tools the Bank of Canada has at its disposal to curb inflation is to raise interest rates. Right? But they didn't do that. So that's still not going to just sit there and go, la, 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 inflation is going to fix itself. Oh, or maybe the budget will just balance itself. Oh, sorry, I digressed there for a second. But it still needs to be addressed. So what is it going to be addressed? There has to be other measures in play to help address this. So the second S from the summary, the second S was a lot of signaling and saber-rattling. Honest to goodness, now, first of all, what I'm going to say here is give a little bit of a pass to the fellow. What was his Tiff? I can't remember his last name. Macklin, I believe it was. Honest to goodness, that's a thankless position. Like, honest to goodness, nobody would be happy with the announcement he made. Like, think about that for a situation that you're about to make an announcement, and no matter what you say, it's a no-win situation. Really. That's really the position he is. So I have a great empathy, and I have a great understanding at the complexity that this fellow and his team have to do. Is they have so many forces to balance. They truly do. But I honestly believe they had an opportunity that could have probably made the majority of the people happy with a small incremental increase at this time, which the market was already factoring in anyways. It probably would not, they could have said all the same things they did, but actually just took a marginal increase at this time, and it would have been okay. They took some measured steps in the right direction, even though they still did an awful lot of signaling. So what do we talk about? Like I said, they truly missed an opportunity to take a step forward. They really did. Really, it came down to all talk and no real action is really what it was. All talk, no real action. There's going to be continued real asset price growth. And, I used the analogy earlier is honest to goodness, they were almost like, the mall cop, if you will, at the mall, and people are running down the hall and the mall cop's sitting there going, stop, or I'll tell you to stop again. Right? Really what they did. They talked the talk, they rattled the saber, and saber-rattling is a term where, it's just like, stop doing that or I'll rattle my saber louder. Like, honest to goodness, they were negotiating in the media leading up to this, as you saw headline after headline trying to scare you that interest rates were coming, interest rates were rising, and then all of a sudden, it just was a nothing burger, as I read on one of my favorite investors to follow. It was just a nothing burger. It was all talk, no action is really what it was. So here's the thing that you have to give consideration to is, if everybody was expecting the rates to go up and everybody was expecting the Bank of Canada to do this, and they didn't come out and do it, but they talked more about doing it. Talk more, do less. What is that going to do for their future credibility? What's it going to do for their future credibility as forward-looking, proactive governing body to help with the monetary policy? I think they lost an opportunity to do what was right, not just do the right thing, but do what was right at the same time. And they lost that opportunity to do it that could have made the majority of the people satisfied, that it was the right thing, that they got the back of the Canadians, and they are moving forward with some good, sound fiscal policies. Okay, so let's go back to it. So the first one was signaling. The second one they talked about, and which I made note of as a lot, was they talked about supply, which everybody is well aware that there's a supply issue right now. Your Amazon package has probably been locked away in some port in Vancouver or in Los Angeles or somewhere for a long time. So supply chain is an absolute real thing. But I didn't think they went far enough to actually address real solutions to the real supply problem. What do I mean? So there definitely is supply chain issues. There is a lack of housing supply, like truly, and I might get the number wrong, but I think I read this, that I think we're at a 31-year low inventory position of houses, and every market's a little bit different. But there's truly, if you're going out there to try to buy a home, try to buy an investment property, there is absolutely nothing available for sale. Truly. There isn't. What they didn't mention in there in any way, shape, or form is they didn't mention that their oversupply of money might have caused a little bit of this inflation as well. And what are their plans to start curbing that? They also didn't mention anything about the root cause to help try and fix the housing supply, is start making it a little bit more easier, make it a little bit more less onerous at the local level, government, federal, provincial, municipal level, to actually start building housing. Just try to remember the last time if you ever went in to go get a plan approved for a secondary dwelling unit, or you went to get a plan approved from taking a house and taking it down from one house down to maybe a triplex or a fourplex, and densification. How many hoops and jumps and government regulatories that you have to go through? They didn't address any of those fundamental concerns. They truly did not. Okay. So the supply was the second S. I guess it was the third S. And then the next S, I guess it would be the fourth, is I believe that there are more stringent rules ahead. Now, this was not said by them, but you can bookmark this video, bookmark this podcast, mark my words that just wait until you start seeing some new announcements come out. Announcements such as, announcements such as they're going to start tinkering with the real estate rules. There's going to be more rules. They're going to they still have to combat inflation. They still do. And they blew one of the opportunities they had with one of their tools in their arsenal to deal with that. And they could have started raising rates gradually. They still need to combat inflation and asset growth. They do. So they're going to start bringing in things. They're going to combat it from the other way. They're going to combat it from the other side, is bring in more taxes. They're going to bring in more real estate taxes. They're going to start changing down payment requirements, that you maybe have to put more down payment. They're going to change that you maybe won't be able to tap into borrowed sources, your line of credit from personal residence, to use for down payments. They're going to change that. They might even go as far as starting to lower amortizations, maybe, to tighten this, to really start curbing the enthusiasm. And I'm a firm believer that there's going to be some big jumps ahead in the interest rate. I still believe that interest rates are going to go up, but instead of taking maybe 4 smaller quarter point jumps, they might be forced to kick the can a little down the road and then have to start doing half and full point jumps. Now, that's where the market gets extremely jumpy, is when you start having large jumps that are unexpected. This quarter point increase now was expected by the marketplace, and it would not have really impacted anything on a go-forward basis there at all. Okay, so more rules are coming. Mark my words, mark this video, come back to it again in the future. So here's the quick summary. Once again, here's the summary. Inflation is here. It truly is. You can feel it in everything you do, everything you do. Now, inflation is great for a real asset like real estate. It's fantastic. But too much inflation is actually a bad thing. Like, for example, I had a conversation with a developer and a home builder recently, and they were talking about all their input costs are going so high on the cost of them to build a new house, to build a condo complex. They're going extremely high, that they're at a point right now that the decision that they're making is they're probably just going to pause the project until costs come in line, because they can't pass along that increase in their material costs to the consumer, because the price is getting so unaffordable in this marketplace that the end consumer, the first-time home buyer, just can't afford the property. So the developer is sitting there going, until costs come back in line, I'm just going to pause the project. Now, what do you think that's going to happen to the supply of the marketplace? It's actually going to make it worse. If any of these developers that are sitting on land positions are going to pause their projects, what do you think that's going to do to the supply? It's going to make it even tighter. Bidding wars are going to get even stronger. It's going to make it even worse. Okay, so understand that inflation is here. It truly is here to stay for the next foreseeable future. And there are tools at the government and Bank of Canada's disposal that they can use to help curb the enthusiasm. You know, the Bank of Canada had all talk, no solutions to the true causes. Honest to goodness, the true cause of this is, in my personal opinion, is the cheap money. Start fixing that by, and I'm not saying going to what I was buying a majority of my properties at in 6 and 7 and 8% interest rates, but take it from it's absolutely zero, take it up to something a little bit more normal. Most people can probably factor in a 1.25% or 1 to 1.25% interest rate hike on their mortgages and their payments. Definitely can do that. So, but the real true solutions are fixing cheap money and also fixing the availability of building homes and building the supply of homes in many of the marketplaces. Okay, so just be aware, guys. More measures are coming. Those measures are coming. There's going to be a lot of unintended consequences that come from this. Don't be surprised if bigger jumps are ahead. There are going to be bigger jumps. There are going to maybe be fewer of them, but they're going to be larger of them, which could impact the market more than you are well aware. Okay, gang, so that's the quick analysis. Now, I know I said it was going to be quick. I think we're going to be around probably, 15 to 20 minutes on this one here. But if you made it around to this time frame, or you made it around right to the end, I encourage you to take a couple steps from here. One, subscribe to my YouTube channel. If that's where you're watching, just hit that little subscribe button, hit the notification, and anytime a new video comes out. Or if you're interested in doing maybe a little bit more intimate, deep dive into the world of what I train and teach, check out the podcast. I've got some really cool episodes in there of if you are interested in starting, growing, and scaling your portfolio of real estate, I'm here to help. Okay, gang, so hope all that helps. That was just a really quick synopsis of the Bank of Canada 2022 January announcement. All right, everybody, Russell Westcott, remember, in every interaction you have with another person, always leave them feeling inspired, encouraged, and always come from a place of love. Bye for now, everybody. Hey, I sure hope you enjoyed this video. If you are interested in moving forward with velocity, if you're interested in being a successful real estate investor, only 2 simple next steps from here. Number 1, below where you're watching this, there will be an opportunity for you to subscribe. And over here will be a hand-selected video for you to keep moving forward. Continue your journey forward. Just click on over here for that hand-selected video for you, and we'll see you on the other side. Thank you very much.